are some entitled dates that bring absolutely nothing to the table.
Compilation!
Would I be the a-hole for breaking up with my boyfriend because of his mom? Would I be the a-hole for breaking up with my boyfriend because his mom said I wasn't allowed to speak unless spoken to a year ago? I'm sorry in advance, this is long. That's good. What do we say? I like them long. I like them chunky. My boyfriend, 32 male, and I, 27 female, have been friends for 5+ years and close friends for 3+. A little over 2 years ago, we began hooking up, but both agreed we didn't want a relationship at the time.
So we gonna get it on? Or you gonna get gone?
It didn't take long, though, for both of us to develop feelings, and we agreed it was best we went our separate ways. However, February 2003, he invited me out to lunch and confessed to me that had been a mistake. And when he pictured his future, it always involved me. Okay. By the end of this conversation, we both admitted to having strong feelings for each other and wanting to give dating a shot. So from that point, things progressed fairly quickly as we already knew each other very deeply. Even when we were just friends, we would often read each other's minds.
Are you reading my mind right now?
We soon began to talk plans of when we would get engaged, married, and have kids in the coming years. These feelings were also communicated very on to his parents. Remember that for later. Just gonna pop that in there. Also, before I get into what his family has said and done, I want to preface with something. When I tell you this man is the most loving, caring, kind man I have ever met, I really, really mean it. I've been in bad relationships in the past and honestly had just given up on dating. If I was not with him, I do not think I would be planning a future with another person. He's met all my friends and family and they have welcomed him with open arms. My friends adore how well he treats me and he truly has been one of the best things that's ever happened to me. Any issues we have talked through calmly together and worked past. Okay, sounds like you guys are pretty good. It's just his mom that's the issue.
Hi, Mom.
About 6 months into our relationship, I began to express more frequently that I wanted to meet his mom and dad. For context, they are still married, although it is very strained. And at the beginning of our relationship, he had moved in with them, less than 10 minutes down the road from my parents' house, and about 15 minutes down the road from my home. We had stopped by his parents' home several times, where I was asked to wait in the car.
Why acting suspicious?
And once we had to meet them at a gas station late one night for important medical reasons. And again, I was asked to wait in the car. Weird. He always explained it as he needed our meetings to be under the right circumstances. Was he afraid to introduce you to his parents because like he knows his mom's really difficult, or like was he embarrassed of you? Like I don't. Soon after that, I met his uncle and his uncle's family. It went so well, we made the 2.5-hour road trip drive to hang out with his uncle again, once or twice in the following months. I remember my heart being so full seeing how kind and welcoming his uncle's family was. However, I had still not met his parents. When I finally met his mom, it was fine, but she did come across as very my way or the highway, and got upset with a waiter that was calling out orders in the restaurant. As someone who grew up in a semi-cultist church, I was really familiar with the holier-than-thou pastor's wife with a dash of Karen persona. If you know, you know. Oh, I know.
Bye, Felicia.
A few weeks later, I met his dad at a soccer game, but he left after about 10 minutes, no speaking to me much. I saw his mom once or twice after that, and she didn't make much of an effort to speak to me or get to know me, and her behavior toward me in these small interactions became increasingly rude, such as walking away while I was in the middle of inviting her over for dinner.
What the hell?
Rude. As my boyfriend had just moved in and had already expressed to his dad he wanted to have his parents over so we could cook for them. At the time, I thought maybe she didn't hear me. Oh, she heard you, bestie.
Oh, it's not over there.
Eventually, at his uncle's Christmas party, I began to really notice his mom doing passive-aggressive behavior toward me and how intentional it seemed. For example, she randomly began talking in front of me about how terrible public schools are and how she would never let her kids be educated by inept public school teachers from the South. Both my boyfriend and his brother went to an extremely expensive international private school K-12, while knowing that not only am I a product of Southern public schools, but I'm also a Southern public school teacher myself. Oh yeah, that was on purpose. That was on purpose. She said other passive-aggressive things like this throughout the night and would ignore me or respond in only 1 or 2 words when I tried to speak with her. Yeah, she fucking hates you, babe. Like, she hates you. It is funny, isn't it? Oh God, they just hate us, you know? They hate us. When I told her about the poinsettia I bought for her, she visibly rolled her eyes and seemed annoyed. She would also turn her back to me or come to stand in front of me with her back to me while I was in group conversation. Oh dear. I mentioned that night to my boyfriend when we were alone how uncomfortable her behavior made me feel. He tried to explain of it a lot as it's just the business of the night and said we would all be able to get to know each other a lot in Boston. You see, we planned for my birthday, which is on New Year's Eve, to go visit his brother in Boston. Last minute found out that his parents had an extra room in the house they had been loaned by a friend, and they were going on almost the exact same days as us. My boyfriend had asked if we could stay with him, and his father said yes. So stupidly, I gaslit myself that everything had simply been a coincidence and I was being too sensitive and was optimistic as I packed my suitcase. I mean, that's a reasonable thing to assume if you're being invited to come and stay with someone over the holidays, you know? I would assume that being invited into somebody's home to spend the holidays with them was a good sign. So you're not totally delusional on that.
This is delusional.
Once we landed in Boston, I came down with a cold, and my boyfriend with medical issues became very ill. I was terrified he was going to end up in the ER. I was constantly running to the corner store to get medicine he asked for. Even walked him 2 miles to get him Italian wedding soup from Whole Foods because I was trying to keep his sodium levels down. Hydration was a big concern to him out of the ER. Meanwhile, his mom went out of her way not to speak to me, made passive-aggressive comments to other people that seemed directed at me, be overly nice to everyone else, and would walk in front of me and put her back to me anytime we were standing in a group, especially on my birthday when we were all at an escape room arcade. If I spoke to her, she would walk away in the middle of me talking or wave me off the way you shoo a dog. I'm sorry I'm laughing. This is just comical, dude. How do people get off on treating others this way? It's very clear that she doesn't like you for some reason, thinks that, her son is too good for you or whatever. But at the end of the day, you don't need to treat people like if you feel that way. And you're also not really giving her much of a chance to prove herself.
Come on, man.
When we returned home, I spoke to my boyfriend about her behavior, and he said he'd noticed it too and was not sure why she was acting that way. The only explanation he could come up with was we were very different personality-wise. He said he was going to speak to her about treating me with respect. However, when he tried to have this convo, she proceeded to talk poorly about me for 2.5 hours, and my boyfriend claims he just froze and he didn't know what to do. He tried his best to defend me, but admitted he dissociated for a lot of the conversation. I don't like that he's not sticking up for you, honestly. Clearly he grew up with this, and maybe that's why he was hesitant about introducing you to her. But what are you supposed to do? Let your mother run your life into adulthood? The reason why she's like this is because nobody stands up to her. She claimed I was controlling because I gave him NyQuil when he asked for it and she doesn't like NyQuil. That I spoke for him because I told her I was worried about his fever and cough. And then claimed I had tried to physically block her access to him while he was sick. This straight up never happened. So she's basically inventing reasons to dislike you. Either she thinks someone else is better for him or she wants him for herself. After him and I having a very serious discussion about setting boundaries with his mom, he tried to speak to her again and explain I was trying to be helpful and I have good intentions. I don't understand why his mom wasn't taking good care of him. If she is gonna shit on how you take care of your boyfriend, then why is she not helping with that?
Who does that?
The conversation went much the same as before. My boyfriend asked if she would be willing to sit down and speak with me as it seemed there was a lot of miscommunications going on. She responded she didn't feel like it was her place to have to talk to me because she thinks that you're gonna be gone in a month. At first, I told my boyfriend no because I didn't like that she was going into it with the mindset that I needed to be, quote, put in my place. But my boyfriend insisted it was not the point of the convo. I could see how much it was hurting my boyfriend, and so reluctantly, I agreed and reached out to her. With my boyfriend's help, I drafted and eventually sent a text apologizing if any of my behavior had been hurtful, expressing my intention was to take care of him in a time of need, and expressing I wish she had given me the chance to explain these things at the time so we could clear up any misunderstandings. Yes, but you're also... Yeah, she's not gonna like that. She's not gonna like it. If I'm understanding who she is correctly, I think any point in which you make her at fault, she will not take well.
How are you? Not great, Bob.
I also said that although we do not have to be best friends, I hoped in the future we would both treat each other with respect because we both cared about my boyfriend. She responded with a day and time she wanted to sit down and chat at Starbucks. The day arrives, and I walk into my boyfriend, who said he would meet me there from work, already inside and standing with his parents waiting on me. Immediately, I had a sinking feeling. As you can imagine, the 3-hour conversation went terrible, but some highlights of my favorite things she said to me are, unless she comes up to me and asks me to speak, she doesn't want to hear what I have to say. She should be allowed to do what she wants with her body. When I asked if she could please stop walking into the middle of groups while I'm talking with others and put her back to me so I'm excluded from the discussion. Wow.
Wow.
She had in fact been kind to me because she allowed me to hug her when she entered her son's home. Context, I bought the home 100% independently before he and I ever started dating. But I guess since a man moved in, it's now his now. I'm just a silly little girl.
No, that's not.
She was also kind to me because she prayed an asthma attack away. It was definitely not the person who lent me their rescue inhaler and saved the day. Don't look at him, look at me. We are having a conversation because I turned to my boyfriend hoping he would chime in when I pointed out neither he nor I remember anything remotely close to me physically blocking her from entering the door to our room when she wanted to ask him what his symptoms were and what he took, moments after asking me the exact same questions and then walking away before I could answer and barging into our room. I was behind her at this point, so I'm not sure how she could have even perceived I'd tried blocking her. I was controlling because I was self-conscious. Amazing that someone who had never asked a single question about me knows so well. This is what I'm saying, like, how is she so steadfast on her feelings towards you and who you are as a person without actually even knowing you, without having any context? Like, maybe if she had heard from her son that you had done something bad to him, but if he said nothing, why does she have these feelings toward you if she doesn't know you at all? She knows everything about my boyfriend. She's known him longer than I have. I mean, yeah, she is his mom. And therefore, there's nothing I can tell her about him that she doesn't already know, and therefore I should not speak about him to her or anyone else. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, at this point, it's kind of like, I really don't like that your boyfriend is not saying anything in your defense. I genuinely don't see how you could continue a relationship with him while her also being in the picture. Like, there is nothing I can give him that she can't give him. Why is she making that argument? Does she want him for herself? Too much time has passed since the trip and I shouldn't be bringing this up now. I mean, she also brought it up, so repeatedly referring to me as my boyfriend's friend and a guest of the family. Okay. And the icing on the cake, after berating me, gaslighting me, interrupting me, and belittling me for almost 3 hours, and me finally on the verge of tears, she jumps up, rushes into my personal space, and says, "See, this isn't about me. This is something going on with you. You are hurting, and that's what I'm worried about." I mean, I think that you're hurting because she's hurting you. Yeah, she fully gaslit you in that whole conversation. Gaslit you, played the victim, classic narcissist-coded tactics. This is the thing about, like, setting boundaries is, like, I've just found that more often than not, people just don't respect them. And they not only don't respect them, but they also somehow make it your fault.
You did it. I didn't. You did it.
What do you do? What do you do when you set boundaries towards someone and they gaslight you and make it your fault? Because, like, the only thing that I've found that works is cutting off that person. You can question, why don't they like me? Why has it gotten this way? Like, all these other things. You can blame yourself. And most times you will, because them instilling that, like, guilt in you does its job to the point where they never have to apologize for anything. Nothing is ever their fault. But more often than not, it's their behavior that's disrespectful. I just feel like, other than maybe getting something off your chest, and maybe that would help you feel better, I don't see how continuing a relationship with someone like this is beneficial to you at all. So at that point, I walked out. I drove home, sobbing to my best friend on the phone about what had just happened, locked myself in the bedroom and cried myself to sleep. Needless to say, I was devastated because I was seriously doubting my relationship. I would be too, honestly. Like, I think in situations like this with controlling mothers, you really have to have a partner that is willing to back you up.
I don't have the milk of mother's kindness in me anymore.
It took me a while to gather my thoughts, but after a few tense days, I sat down with my boyfriend and recounted to him every single horrible thing she said to me. I pressed him on why he didn't chime in when she lied about things that we both had previously agreed didn't happen, and when she was being condescending toward me. Kind of sounds like a man. Like,
Oh, you're too scared to stand up to your mommy? Like,
come on, dude.
You're the biggest.
He admitted that he felt the need to be a neutral party in the conversation. That is bullshit. I'm sorry. I hate that argument. A neutral party? By not taking a side, you are taking a side. Being a neutral party and letting someone you supposedly love and want to spend the rest of your life with be disrespected in front of your face, you are choosing a side, and it's the side of the bully. I reminded him I walked into this conversation in good faith, that it was to clear up miscommunications, and instead, I felt like it was his family versus me, having to defend my character while being interrupted, insulted, and gaslit. I point blank told him that I nearly broke up with him that night, and every day since, but since my friend talked me down off that ledge, they acknowledged that we have something very special. Like, I understand he's a nice person, but he also sounds like a pushover.
You push too hard, darling.
I hate that. I don't love that for you, bestie. I also point blank told him I had 3 non-negotiable boundaries that I now needed to set in place for my mental health. 1, he needed to go to therapy and his first appointment had to be within the next 3 weeks or I would end the relationship. 2, he had 1 year to learn how to set boundaries with his family and stand up for me when I'm there and when I'm not, or I would end the relationship. 3, I would not ever speak to his mom again unless she apologized for the way she treated me. And even then, I would not spend prolonged time with her or interact with her closely. I think that's totally fair. I think that she's the one that has to suck up to you at this point. At this point, you have to protect your peace. He has since attended therapy regularly, and when his therapist expressed that his mom has an emotionally incestuous relationship toward him, God, I should just be a therapist. Always keep in mind, I am not a therapist. I have just had lots of therapy. So my opinions, you know, like they're from the place of I have done some healing, but they're not a therapist's advice, okay? Think about these videos as we are besties, and I'm trying to coach you through a difficult situation, okay? But it's interesting that the therapist thought the same thing. Here are the reasons. From a young age, she began to place the emotional responsibilities of a partner on my boyfriend because his dad wasn't meeting them. And in therapy, he's begun to recall a lot about his childhood he repressed, like the fact that she would often vent to him and expose him to very adult topics from a young age. She also asked him to make adult decisions for her, like how he felt about her divorcing her husband, his dad, or the financial burden of their very expensive schooling, asking him if he would be okay with being pulled out his senior year to be transferred to public school. Additionally, his parents made passive-aggressive comments about race, such as his mom stating her disgust for POC being with white women, his dad saying he's glad his son chose the right kind of white to date. When he began dating one of his exes, who was European. His parents were also very cold, distant, and uninviting to his friends and girlfriends. Okay, so it wasn't just you. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so it's not about you, babes. Like, this is the thing. This is the thing that I think everybody needs to understand. When you're dealing with a person like this, you're literally dealing with a person with so much self-hate that they project that self-hate onto others. So it is not you. And I know it's hard to like separate the two. Like you might be questioning everything about yourself, think that you're not good enough, all these other things. But just like maintain, it is not about you. It has everything to do with how that person feels about themselves. They've also talked a lot about the night my boyfriend let his mom berate me in Starbucks for 3 hours and how wildly inappropriate her behavior and him allowing it was. Okay, I'm really glad that his therapist is backing you up. I hope he takes it to heart. He clearly grew up with this person and is probably kind of afraid of her, honestly. But still, like, if he doesn't learn how to like set healthy boundaries and he doesn't understand that this is a very toxic relationship, I don't know. Doesn't seem like a war I would want to fight.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Since then, he's apologized on many occasions, saying more than once it's one of his biggest regrets of his life and the biggest mistake he's ever made in our relationship. He also tried repeatedly to set boundaries with his parents and talk to them about the inappropriate things they've said and continue to say. However, the conversations always fall apart, usually with them beginning to gaslight him, make excuses for their behavior, change the topic, and pretend they don't understand the very simple things he's asking them to do. He is visibly exasperated with the conversations, often dreading having to interact with his parents, and has begun seeing them less and less. This is painful for me to see because I don't want him to not have a relationship with them, but I also know I can't have a relationship with them without something changing. And my bigger concern is that if we have children, they would see this behavior and think it's okay. That part. Yeah, I mean, it genuinely sucks. Like, it sucks to have to, like, not force, but, like, kind of make him choose between you and them. That's what you're doing, right? you're making him choose you over his parents. I mean, you're not really, because they're also doing things that are very hurtful to him too. At the same time, I think that no one would want to put up with something like this. Like anyone he dates is gonna feel this way, and they're gonna be treated the exact same way by them. Because remember what I said, it's not about you, it's about how his parents behave and how they feel about themselves.
I hate myself. Oh, I hate myself.
I just think that it's not necessarily your fault. I think that you're the one person who's willing to stay with him regardless of all of these things. It's one thing for them to traumatize me, but I've told my boyfriend I'm not okay with them traumatizing our children. I know all of this is making him feel torn, and often when we try to talk about it and how toxic some of their behavior is, he gets so wrapped in trying to defend their character, I don't truly feel heard. Well, yeah, because like, here's the thing. He is also defending someone who, you know, probably gave him a lot, right? Like, yes, they're pushy and controlling and kind of racist, but I'm guessing he doesn't only see the bad side. He's only started to see the bad side once he started to push back.
If life pushes you down, you gotta push back.
My friends think he's worked really hard to grow these last 10 months and has already made some big changes and wants to continue to do better. So I feel safe around his family. However, my therapist has pointed out that this might be a bigger issue further down the road and has asked me if he has changed enough for me to consider next steps. Originally, we planned on getting engaged next spring, but things have been a holding pattern for obvious reasons. Yeah, I guess you have to decide like if you love him enough and if you're willing to, you know, be in these people's lives, at least partially, for the rest of your life.
One eternity later.
At first, I was feeling like he had because his uncle expressed wanting to sit down and have a conversation with us to help improve my relationship with his mom. And my boyfriend had called him and set boundaries that the strain had come from his mom's behavior. And I had already tried to mend that fence, but was treated poorly and it would not happen again. However, I found out this weekend that his uncle doesn't plan on his mom being there and instead just wants to share information about his mom to help us understand.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
I mean, you can hear him out and decide whether or not the reasons for her behavior are good enough. I don't know. It kind of just sounds like everybody panders to her. Everybody in her life is an enabler. I straight up told my boyfriend that was triangulation and I wasn't sure I wanted to have the conversation anymore. He was devastated and said he felt like this was his last hope, and he and his uncle had already acknowledged his mom's behavior will probably never change. I also found out he talked to his dad again about his frustrations, yet did not clearly set the boundary that he needed to be respectful towards our relationship and toward me. I got quiet at this point, and after a while, he admitted he knew he had dropped the ball. But honestly, at this point, it all felt like too much. I told him I didn't really feel like rehashing the same conversation because there wasn't really anything left for us to say for the millionth time, and I was tired. Yeah, I mean, this kind of seems like it's a lot more trouble than it's worth. I understand you love your boyfriend, but like, I don't know. Again, like, I think that he's gonna have to deal with this regardless of who he dates or chooses to marry, unless he marries someone that's like such a complete pushover and is fine with it. But like, it doesn't really sound like this is something that you want to put up with. Since then, things have been really tense between us. I know I said I would give him a year, and maybe I'm not being fair, getting upset when it hasn't been the full year. And in fact, he has gone to therapy and has set boundaries with some of his family, the ones who cared to listen at least. It is so much for someone to process and overcome in a year. He is just seeing for the first time how toxic many of his family patterns are and is still navigating how to put a stop to it. Hasn't he technically met my ultimatums, so I should be grateful for the progress I do see? Are my expectations too high? Am I being an unreasonable asshole? I don't think that your expectations are too high. Through all of this, I think that you were hoping that things would get better, or, you know, maybe there was like a little bit of like admission or a little bit of like the mom and the dad, you know, saying maybe I'm not gonna be such a dick, but they refuse to not be assholes. Like, they refuse. They're like,
No, sorry, I'm an asshole. Suck it up.
suck it up. Clearly, he's breaking some generational curses, okay? He is having to undo like an entire lifetime of BS. I do think it's gonna take him some time to be able to stand up to his parents. Like, it's easy for us to say because we're not involved, but like, I think it might be worth seeing how the year goes, because like, realistically, you don't have to have a relationship with them. Like, you don't. I just think he's still gonna have to deal with this regardless of who he dates. And this work that he needed to do anyway. It might be worth, if you really truly love this guy, to see it through until when you promised. Because he is trying. Like, I do see that he's trying, and it wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna do it for a week and then like not. Like, he is trying.
We gonna do over there?
And your friends seem to really like him. He just needs to come to terms with the fact that him and his parents have to be either low contact or no contact. And I don't think that that's him choosing between you and them. I think that that's gonna be like, he needs to choose whether or not he's gonna be married to his parents for the rest of his life. Because it's going to happen regardless if it's you or another woman. I think that you're not the a-hole. You do whatever you feel like you need to do, okay? Like, you know the answer. You know the answer here. You sound like you're at the end of your rope. I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to stick with him for a bit. I also wouldn't blame you if you didn't want to stick with it. Like, obviously, we don't understand everything that's happened. We don't understand, like, this is just like, you know, a Reddit post. So, like, she has to do what's right for her. You do whatever you feel comfy doing. First comment says, I'm grateful that my husband took the time to show me how toxic my father was and supported me in learning how to deal with that and change my responses to my father. But in the end, the only solution was no contact with my father. I really do not regret that one bit, and my life has been better for it. Unless your boyfriend is willing and capable of going no contact with his mother, this will never end. And unless he's capable of not blaming you if he goes no contact, then you will never hear the end of it. OP responds, thank you for sharing this. Do you mind sharing how long it took from him first talking with you about it to finally clicking for you to go no contact? My boyfriend now recognizes her behavior is 100% unacceptable, despite how normalized it has been for him. He also acknowledges he will have to go no contact if she doesn't change. But I'm not sure when he is going to decide if she isn't going to change, if that makes sense. He saw it immediately, but waited for me to comment about how unfair it was about something and used that to open the convo. This was about 2 years in. We went low contact with periods of no contact or timeouts. Then when he finally reduced me to tears over how he treated my mother, I cut contact. That was 12 years in. We were loath to go fully no contact for fear of his treatment of my mother. In hindsight, I should have fought for my mom to leave him and gone no contact years earlier. Okay, so it does take some time. Like, it's hard. Like, there's part of you that, like, you know, still hangs on to the possibility of, like, you hope that things will get better.
You just don't get any better.
Petty.com said, I would say you would be an a-hole. Before making any decisions, I would lay out your feelings to your partner and tell him your concerns with the relationship. I would then make a decision based on how that conversation goes. You deserve to feel comfortable and safe. I'm sorry you're going through this. Your boyfriend is doing a lot to try to change things, and he's coming to the realization that something does have to change. And he is doing the work, okay? And he's doing most of the things he said he was going to. Give him at least until, you know, the year is up to really make a decision. Can he live with you and your future children having zero contact with his parents? If no, then break up. If yes, there may be a basis for conversation. I agree with this. I think that you need to make some adult decisions here. You got to see how it goes. Just stick to your timeline. Keep your promise. All right, let's be women of our word. Let's be people of our word.
I'm a man of my word.
And then after a year, if things really haven't changed, he hasn't set boundaries, and you guys are still under the understanding that, you know, this person's going to be in your life, the parents are going to be in your life, you're not going to be no contact, that's when you pull the plug.
Today, I'm going to be judging some dating drama with my fiance.
I'm going to judge too. Call me the pudgy judge. I've been a snacky tacky lately, you know.
On Bumble. I, 33 male, am developing a crush on my wife's 34 female cousin. 33 female. How long until these feelings fade?
Well, sir, the grass is always greener, but let's just start.
Is it greener? Is it greener?
Sometimes it's stinkier. Sometimes it's browner. Like our lawn.
Our lawn is very brown.
Like our stupid, finicky lawn.
I have a huge crush on my wife's cousin, Candace. This is a terrible situation I found myself in. I should say I genuinely think I have the greatest wife, Anna, in the world, and it's not even close. She's an amazing woman, mother, and wife. When I met her, she approached me at a bar, and I was flattered. We hit it off almost immediately. She was nervous, but I found it cute, and she said she doesn't normally approach guys, but wanted to talk. Later that night, her cousin and best friend came, and my jaw was on the ground. So you met them both on the same night.
Oh.
Interesting. And then you ended up marrying one.
But now you're just getting these feelings?
It kind of sounds like these feelings have been there since the beginning.
This is kind of sus.
Candace is just a fucking gorgeous machine. Everything about her. But it was too late. I did wonder how different things would have been if I met Candace first. But 10 years later, I would say things worked out. We got married and have a great little girl. The thought had completely left my head until recently. About 2 months ago, Candace had to drop something off, and I took off while my wife was at work. She had borrowed my laptop because hers broke while she gets a new one. We were just talking and drinking wine, watching 90 Day Fiancé, and she confessed to me that when she showed up, she thought I was handsome, and it sucked that I was already talking to Anna.
Wait, what? Why are they drinking wine in the first place? She just showed up to borrow the computer?
I guess so, and they just ended up hanging out. Okay.
Oh, God.
I don't like that her cousin said that.
I don't either.
Even if you did feel that way, that is so inappropriate. I just don't really see the point of sharing that information if you're not trying to get validation from that person.
Yeah, I don't know what the game is here, but that's really weird.
That seems like information that you should keep to yourself, honestly. Shush. My jaw was on the ground. And I told her when I saw her, I was like, damn, and wishing I saw you first. And she said, is that so? I immediately changed the subject, but my heart was pounding. Eventually, she left and went home. Ooh, this is super...
That's so weird, man. That's so uncomfortable.
That's gonna be a yikes for me, dog.
It's almost as if she was gauging to see if you...
were into it.
Yeah, like if you would be willing to cheat. She made a move on him.
Basically, yeah.
Like you made a move on this guy.
Yeah, she confessed that she had a crush on him.
Yeah, for sure.
Isn't it funny how, like, in movies, they glorify this kind of thing of like, well, love finds a way.
How
and then
is
in
it
real
possibly
life,
going to find a way? That's her cousin.
I know, but I'm just saying, it's just, yeah, it's really messed up.
Like, what are they going to do? Run off into the sunset and never speak to any of their friends and family again?
Yes.
Well, we know a couple that did that.
Oh my God, we do know a couple that did that.
You know what's so funny is that, like, you see them and you're like, yeah, they're meant to be together.
They are. They actually are. And they've known each other since they were like kids. That's the other thing.
They're
too.
also like in their 60s.
Yeah.
So
no.
it's different. But like, isn't it interesting how in real life it's like really messed up?
It is.
But
yeah.
you hear the story in a movie, or like, you know, I mean, in movies they glorify it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's so messed up how in real life when that happens, it's like, what?
Yeah, totally. It's actually a really crazy story. They both left marriages or relationships to be with each other. You know, they're married, they're 60 years old now. They have a bunch of beautiful children, and it worked out for them.
Yeah, 100%.
It's very clear that they're meant to be together. That is just such a 1 in a million type thing.
But it is interesting how, like, in real life, I don't know, it's such a faux pas, because in movies, they usually make the person that main character is leaving a terrible person.
Yeah.
But in real life, there's so much more going on. There's so much more context.
Yeah, there is a lot of context. But I also would like to justify that the couple we're talking about have known each other
since they were kids.
Since they were kids. And it was like the one that got away. And also, it's not like they were married to like each other's family members.
No.
You know?
It's different. This is like family. It was a bit of a tangent, but it is kind of funny.
It's super, super relevant. I totally forgot about that. Anyways, all right, let's get back to the story. She later texted me saying she just wants to hook up one time.
Wow. She actually said that in writing.
That is bold. Okay. And she would text my wife saying that she needs help fixing her dishwasher and to reply yes or no, then delete the conversation. She said she would understand either way. Okay. So she just literally wants to have an affair. She doesn't like love you or anything.
She's just curious.
Maybe she's sort of jealous of her cousin and like kind of wants what she has.
Or she's jealous that she got you instead of her.
I know, but that like, just get over it. Like,
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying like that's what it is.
Trying to rationalize it. Either way, you sound awful because it's not like you have this undying love for this person, but you're willing to ruin your cousin's marriage, possibly because you want to have an affair with her husband.
Yeah, but it's also weird that you put in the context of like, when I first met her, she was stunning, drop dead stunning.
On the floor.
Like in The Mask when Cameron Diaz comes in and his tongue.
I waited and my wife said she will take care of our daughter and Candace needs help with her dishwasher. I went over there with zero intention to have sex with her. But you still went over there knowing that's what she wanted.
Why you always lying?
And to let her know we can't do this. But unfortunately, things went the other direction and we giggity.
Did you put your dish in her washer?
We agreed it was just one time. You only live once moment, and that was that. I'm sorry, buddy. Let's be honest here. You went there fully knowing that that's what she wanted, okay? You could have just told her with a text, sorry, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go over there. You were curious, and you let it happen.
Do you think it would be better to just sort of say no and ignore it, or would you like tell your wife?
I mean, I think that he should probably tell his wife, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Because then if she finds out later on...
At this point, though, did he he agree to it.
No, but from the beginning, like if she said that to him, like at what point do you tell your wife? You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure that you tell your wife like as soon as it happens.
Yeah, as soon as she's like, come over and fix my dishwasher.
But also if he's like incriminated himself by saying, yeah, like I'll do it, that also doesn't make him look very good.
Yeah.
Maybe you just should try not to voice your feelings for other people other than your...
He just wants to give Anna his banana.
Unfortunately, that moment started bringing up old feelings I thought were gone.
Oh, God.
She became much more flirty discreetly. See, it's never just once. Like,
it's lust, bro. It's lust.
lust.
You have
It's
a beautiful
lust.
family. You have a daughter and a wife.
I know, it's so silly. I started being distant toward my wife. Ugh. We both know we can't act on it, but I kind of wish we could be together. But it would hurt too many people, and I can't do that. You already did it, buddy. You literally already did. They just don't know it yet. But at events, we become closer. I had food on my face yesterday, and she was wiping it off. That annoyed my wife, who said she can wipe off my husband's face. She even complained about it in the car, but I reassured her that she's overreacting. Oh, right. You told her she was crazy, right?
Yeah.
This is why whenever someone says, oh, you're overreacting.
Oh, yeah? Am I?
Am I? I don't think I am. Yeah, I'm in a sticky situation and I need help removing my feelings before things get out of control. How can I lose these feelings so I can focus on my family?
I think you got to tell your wife.
Oh, yeah, I think you have to tell your wife.
And work through it together.
I think that you need to really know how much you would lose. I don't know.
I don't know what you have to do here. I think you got to come clean.
I think you're a butthead. Edit. I get it. I'm a piece of crap. You don't have to tell me because no one feels more disgusted at myself than I am. I just want actual advice on how to have these feelings fade so I can focus on my family. I won't respond to comments attacking me and not giving genuine advice on how to make the best out of this really crappy situation.
Okay, you made the mistake. What can you do? Option A, you tell your wife and deal with the consequences. And then that can go one of two ways. You guys heal, or she breaks up with you and maybe you act on Anna. And maybe that ends up, you guys are happily ever after, or maybe not. And then you lost both girls, you know what I mean? Both women. And you lost your family and their respect.
Or you could say nothing, which I don't recommend, honestly.
I just don't think that's going to end well, though.
I don't think it's going to end well either. I genuinely think that if you want to work on your marriage, you have to put your marriage first. So that means you can't see this woman anymore.
Yeah.
You have to tell her, like, stop it. And I think that the only way out of this, honestly, is to tell your wife what happened.
Yeah.
She might forgive you, she might not, but I don't think seeing this person is healthy for you. Yeah. I think this person is meddling in your marriage and taking advantage of your previous feelings for her. She's ruining her cousin's marriage.
Yeah, she is.
I mean, obviously you're ruining your own marriage, but like that's her own cousin that's doing that. That's messed up.
Yeah, dude. She came into your house, drank red wine, presumably. They red, maybe? Seem like red wine kind of people. I don't know, bro. I don't want to shit on you, but kind of a gutless thing to do. But I'm not going to judge you. You have those two options. I think you have to tell her.
We listen and we don't judge. But okay, maybe a little bit.
Doesn't mean I can't call you an asshole.
You're still a butthead.
You're still a butthead for doing this. But I think you have to tell her. And then possibly, maybe you guys go to couples therapy or something and work through it together. I don't know.
If she wants to still be with you. You want your cake and you want to eat it too. I don't know. I mean, I do know. I do know how this ends up.
You know how it ends up? Diabetes.
Bro, this isn't a crush. You cheated on your wife. You need to tell her because eventually it's going to come out anyway. Better from you than her cousin. I'm developing a crush on my wife's cousin. That was the title of this. You made it sound like it was this innocent crush, but you acted on these feelings. You're like downplaying how severe this situation is. It speaks volumes in my opinion.
Even writing this post too, wasn't the first line like she was drop dead gorgeous or something to that
I
effect?
have a huge crush on my wife's cousin, Candace. You reassure her that she was overreacting. Sir, she's unknowingly underreacting. Don't be a gaslighting step up and tell her what happened. You cheated and now you're making your wife feel crazy because you're telling her any kind of feelings that she has are all in her head. It just goes to show that like when you have like a feeling about something, you think somebody's cheating, they probably are. I'm just saying. I don't have those feelings about you.
I mean, it kind of depends on history, right? It's not always true.
I don't know if it necessarily depends on history also. Like, yes, okay, maybe you've been cheated on and that's how you feel. Maybe you have trust issues. I think that you can sense when something is off.
You can sense when someone's disinterested and disengaged, for sure.
For sure. When someone pulls away attention like that or love, you can feel it.
When someone stops paying attention.
I see it all the time.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I'm not going to rip into you. I think this is pretty self-explanatory here. You cheated on your wife and you feel bad about it, but you also don't sound like you are all that sorry either. I think she deserves better than you, but you can hope that if you tell your wife what happened, that she'll stay with you. I wouldn't blame her if she left.
That's fair.
The only way out of this and to clear your conscience is to tell her.
Yeah, because honestly, I think that her cousin's gonna tell her or find some way to break you guys up.
But like, he came on to me. She could gaslight him that way.
I mean, he might also lie to his wife about how it happened too. He's like literally gaslighting us. I feel gaslit reading this.
Yeah, seriously.
I just went over there and like all of a sudden we're giggity gooing and I don't know how that happened.
Like, what do you mean? You don't know how it happened. What do you mean? Okay, this isn't an Am I the A-hole, but you are kind of in that territory a little bit.
Stinky.
How long until these feelings fade? Can't help you there, buddy. Don't cheat on your spouse.
Cheating is bad. Except for that one time I cheated on a grade 4 math test. I had to do it. I didn't study. Sorry, Alvin.
Am I the a-hole for wanting to leave my boyfriend over his behavior on my birthday?
Ooh.
I, Vanessa, 23, have been with my boyfriend Nelson, 26 male, for about 5 years now. He said he doesn't do much on occasions, and when I ask him about it, he says he's just not good at celebrating this on the actual date of the celebration, and he would rather gift or celebrate it a day or two after.
Okay.
Okay. So you're going to celebrate other people when you say that you're going to celebrate other people?
I don't like to celebrate Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day. I like to celebrate it 2 days later. Discounted chocolates. Nelson, come on, man.
I'm sorry, Vanessa. I tried to talk to him about it several times, if he might consider celebrating it at least for me, but my words never seem to find their way into his head. If I ask him if he has any plans for Valentine's Day or anything, he would ask me if I have nothing else to think about. He would post other ladies, wishing them a happy birthday with blessings or nice messages on his status most of the time. His status? Like Facebook status?
Are we talking about like WhatsApp status? Facebook?
I don't know. What kind of status are we talking here? Last year on the 5th of July was my birthday, and I woke up with my boyfriend on the same bed the morning of the birthday, but didn't even get a happy birthday from him.
That's grounds for murder.
Vanessa, what are you talking about? He got up and went to work just like that. Nothing from him about my birthday.
It's like he remembers it the day of and then has to like plan a gift or something for the next 2 days and then do the birthday 2 days later. Like, what is this guy's deal, man?
But he also wishes other girls happy birthdays.
I don't know. Blessings and stuff? Is this a cultural thing maybe? Or like...
I don't know what's happening. I decided to wait. Maybe it's one of those surprises that they pretend to forget but are planning for you. Typical me with the high hopes. The whole day went by and still nothing from him. No call, text, gift, or plans. Around 7:30 to 8 p.m. that night, an administrator for a WhatsApp group that my boyfriend is in posted a picture of me wishing me a happy birthday. Not because my boyfriend asked him to, it's something they do most in the group. They post birthdays, weddings, and other occasions, and we get to congratulate and send our best wishes in the group. After several wishes, I saw my boyfriend's, his words, "Happy birthday, dear," just like that. It was almost as if he was trying to make it sound so casual, and he was back from work by the time he sent that message. So, am I the a-hole for wanting to leave my boyfriend over his behavior on my birthday?
This guy sounds like delusional and
disinterested. It sounds like this guy is like not even really committed to you.
Not at all, yeah.
He's trying to like keep your expectations really low or something, or he's maybe seeing other people and you don't know about it because he's like wishing other people happy birthday.
But why is he also waiting 2 days or whatever? Like he's delaying the celebration of the birthday a couple of days.
It's the law!
I think that he doesn't do that for everyone. So I've met guys like this and they do stuff like this to keep your expectations low or even to just like put you in your place. To be like, oh yeah, we're not dating. Like we're not really together. It's happened to me so many times where I thought I was like dating someone and then we'll go out to a bar and he'll kiss someone in front of me.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, thank you. Terrible. Or like I thought I was dating someone and then I don't hear from them at all until on Valentine's Day until literally 11:59 p.m. on Valentine's Day.
You up?
So he's literally waiting the whole day for like even a text message and they send it at 11:59 p.m.
At least he texted you on Valentine's Day.
I just have a theory that guys that do this do it to kind of keep you in your place, to keep your expectations low, and also to make it known that, you know, they're seeing maybe other people.
Also, question for you. Do you text group chats when it's someone's birthday or do you just text that person individually?
I text group chats sometimes, yeah.
Doesn't that bother you though? It's like, hi, I'm the best friend. Happy birthday, Charlotte. Does that not bother you sometimes? Or I guess you could look at it as, everyone, let's celebrate this person because it's their birthday.
I actually appreciate the text sometimes because like without Facebook, I kind of forget about birthdays sometimes. So it helps me remember that there's someone's birthday. I don't really think too much of it. Obviously, I expect the birthday text in the morning and then maybe a birthday phone call.
Yeah.
Just to see if they're busy and they're responding because I don't know, maybe they're not checking the group chat or whatever.
I'm more of like a text you privately, like happy birthday.
Yeah, totally.
Or sing you like happy
could do that
birthday.
I don't think it really
stinky
matters.
butthole.
I don't know. I think you're being a little picky. I wouldn't read into it too much.
Picky.
I would not argue one is better than the other. Texting privately is also good. I think a phone call also is good.
Phone call's the best.
Phone call's the best. Not the a-hole. He's very demeaning to you, especially wishing other women happy birthday and nothing to you until someone else does. He's not going to change and you don't need to waste any more of your time on him. Life's too short and enjoy it, especially when you are young.
Agreed.
My ex, after 25 years together, married 23, never could seem to remember my birthday or anniversary. No gifts either. I always thought he just couldn't remember. I was wrong. During our last year, he had an affair with a married woman. And guess what? He knew and could remember her birthday. Not only that, but her anniversary with her husband, who she's still with. I realized he just didn't take the time to make it important to him.
Jesus.
Or, you know, he's just being deliberately mean to keep your expectations low. I don't know.
There's some scumbags out there.
This is just terrible. Like, come on. There are plenty of guys out there that would wish you a happy birthday on your birth. Like, the bar is in hell.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
The bar is in hell.
The bar is so far down. So, no, you're not the a-hole. And quite frankly, if you don't break up with him, I'm going to break up with you. Come on, dump his ass.
Dump that stinky soul.
Dump that butthead. My 25 male girlfriend, 23 female, is upset at something I did before we were officially together. How can we not let it ruin our relationship?
Okay.
My girlfriend and I have a really great relationship.
Are you sure about that?
Before the situation came out, our relationship was great. She repeatedly told me this was the best relationship she's had and how we communicate very well. We've been together officially about 9 months and been planning our 1-year anniversary. Before we were officially together, we were seeing each other, and we did this for 7 months before making it official.
7 months? Okay, well, whatever.
Okay. The reason it took so long is because when I commit, and I'm not going to commit until I know I can give 200%. And she even says I'm the best relationship she's had. The issue she has is because during our seeing each other stage, I hooked up with someone in her inner circle.
Ooh, you cannot penetrate the inner sanctum.
It's an interesting choice of words. How did you meet this other person in the inner circle? Did you meet through her?
Probably.
There's so many other people that you could hook up with. I understand. Listen, I understand you weren't officially together.
But you were kind of exclusive?
But they were seeing each other. They were seeing each other for 7 months. Like after 7 months, you do develop feelings. The least you can do is not hook up with her friend.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm just like wondering, did they not establish ground rules of like, is she more mad that it's her friend or mad that he hooked up with somebody else? Probably a little bit of both.
But I think it generally goes without saying that like, yes, okay, you're in an open relationship or you're just seeing each other. Like, yes, you're not exclusive. You both can see other people. But like when you're hooking up with like someone that she's like not just friends with, but like inner circle.
Also, this other friend, like, can we talk about this friend too?
Yeah.
Scummy.
I mean, depends if she knows or not. She recently found out because her friend told her, not out of guilt, but out of jealousy for our relationship.
What a bitch.
What a bitch. I can go on, but she's not a good person. Most of my girlfriend's friends are great people, but this woman showed her character. I mean, are you that good of a person if you wanted to hook up with one of your girlfriends or like...
I think it's complicated.
Romantic partners, friends too?
I think both of your hands, both of your sets of hands.
Here. Like you both f***ed up. Let's
4 hands are dirty.
Either way, this hurt my girlfriend when she found out. One, because it was her friend, and I can say I was wrong and take full accountability for that. Good. That's the first step. The other part is the fact that I was sleeping with others before we were official. But that was more of a miscommunication. She was under the impression that I wasn't sleeping with other people and just too busy to make it official. I had told her I didn't want to commit until I can fully dedicate 200% and be the boyfriend she deserves. Just a misunderstanding and miscommunication. Okay, so you're saying that you did have the discussion that you were not fully exclusive?
I guess, but if a guy says that, he's definitely with other girls as well.
Yeah, he definitely is with other girls. Let's
not be naive here.
Yeah, let's not be naive, okay? If a guy is telling you that he doesn't want to be exclusive or that he wants to like continue seeing other people, he's gonna do that. In fact, he probably already is.
I mean, it's girls too. Like if I'm
anyone. If anyone,
everyone's talking to multiple people at once.
Everyone is talking to multiple people at once in a talking stage, in a hookup stage, or whatever. I really hate those. They definitely should not last 7 months. That is way too long to be in a talking stage or a hookup stage.
But I'm also kind of curious, how soon into their situationship was he banging this other girl?
We aren't at a risk of breaking up, but she's been distant, and I just want to take initiative so this doesn't fester in our relationship. The best thing that you can do right now, I understand you were not exclusive. This was not like the best thing for you to do, realistically. You weren't committed to this person. You didn't have to hook up with her friend. Okay, so firstly, you need to apologize for hooking up with her friend. Secondly, you need to make it very clear to her that
you're committed fully.
You're committed fully to her now. And also, I would probably promise to kind of stay away from this friend that you hooked up with.
And honestly, she should see that this friend is a scumbag as well.
She should. I genuinely feel like talking stages and like hookup stages, it should never last this long. Even if you are setting boundaries and stuff like that, like someone's gonna get attached.
Like a couple months.
A couple months and cut it off. Tops.
Yeah.
Because then you're just kind of being
irresponsible
with other people's feelings.
Yes, I agree.
Hashtag preach.
Thousands of other fish in the sea, and you decided to giggity goo with one of her close friends. Gross.
It's true. It's 50-50, but also her friend is a scumbag.
Yeah, her friend sucks. You both suck. Men really think sleeping with a close friend puts them in an amazing boyfriend tier. It's like, no, listen, I am a great boyfriend. I giggitied with her friend, but only before we were committed. Fabulous job, fabulous guy. I am the best boyfriend. Just a miscommunication and a misunderstanding sounds more like an embellished poetic lie. I need to date you casually for over half a year while I sow my wild oats with your friends. The truth. Versus, I'm not going to commit until I can give 200% to be the boyfriend you deserve, but this is serious and it is seriously going places. There's a big wide gulf between these two statements, and your refusal to budge off your position that she's just misunderstanding how wonderful you are and how great it is that you finally committed. And it's just a miscommunication that you misled her into thinking things were much more serious and much more exclusive than they were. To you, not having the label of boyfriend and girlfriend means you're fully single regardless of the relationship building you're spending months doing with her. To her, it obviously didn't mean either of you were fully single, and you seem to know that and knew at the time. Yeah, I mean, he's got a point.
You got a point, yeah.
If you knew what you were doing would bother her or be a deal breaker at the time in the courting phase, then doing it anyway and hiding it was dishonest. It doesn't matter if you told outright lies or lies of omission. You did tell a lie of omission because you have now been dating this girl for almost a year and you have never told her that you've hooked up with her friend. I don't know, man. I'd start with being more honest about what you were thinking and doing through all those 7 months that you were pretending to be this girl's boyfriend. Blaming the messenger is distracting you from your own misbehavior and is continuing your pattern of hiding your dishonesty. Tough truth there.
Yeah, they're coming after him.
Yeah, they
Nobody's
really are.
siding with him at all. I mean, he doesn't deserve to be sided with. I'm just saying, everyone seems to be saying the same thing.
I mean, yeah, it is just a little bit irresponsible to be like seeing someone for 7 months and then like not accept any of the blame for like hooking up with their friend and blaming it all on them. Like, oh, she's a terrible person. And it's like, well,
we need to hear from that other friend's point of view. Like, he's saying this girl tried to ruin our relationship.
But maybe she actually told her friend what really happened because you're actually kind of an asshole. And
yeah, maybe she's actually a really good friend.
Yeah, maybe she's a good friend.
Because he tried to hook up with her.
That's the fucking ticket, babe.
Maybe that's what it is. And he's just telling this version of his story.
Kind of sounds like he sugarcoats it to make it sound better.
He's playing victim, really.
He's playing victim and he's making her out to be the villain. But I mean, in this situation, she told her friend something that she really should have said, something he should have told his girlfriend. So she's the one that's actually being honest. Or like what reason we don't know, right?
Yeah.
But she's doing it to sabotage our relationship.
Yeah, maybe it's like she's warning her, being like, hey, by the way, he's going out trying to other girls.
By the way, like while you two were seeing each other, like we hooked up.
And I'm really sorry about that and whatever, but I care about you and I don't want to see you be with this guy.
I don't know if I can trust this guy as far as I can throw him, to be quite frank.
You are pretty strong though.
What?
You could throw me pretty far.
I'm strong. I'm very strong. I've been working out. I wouldn't really trust this guy's word for it. It kind of sounds like he's sugarcoating and cherry picking what he's choosing to share. I think she deserves better. And maybe, relationship next time around, don't be so irresponsible with other people's feelings and don't hook up with one of your hookup's friends. Don't get where you eat.
My boyfriend woke me up at 2 a.m. to make him dinner.
Plus some more petty relationship drama. I am never dating again. No advice needed, just want to vent. Vent, baby girl. I'm here to listen. So I became official with this guy a couple of months ago. He was sweet, kind, funny, gorgeous, the usual stuff. Everything was fine. We'd stay at each other's places, have date nights, general relationship stuff. In short, no red flags. A couple beige ones here and there, but everyone has those. Then came the other night. He's currently having to pick up the slack at his job due to multiple people quitting. We decided to spend the weekend at my place as his roommates can be quite loud, and he needed to concentrate on fixing a system at his job so he can remotely work. Friday is fine, we stay and in between working, we do the usual couple stuff. Saturday comes and something has gone wrong, and the stress doubled.
Uh-oh. I think we're in trouble.
So he isn't eating anything I make, which is fine. I simply remind him that there are leftovers in the fridge. By 11 p.m., he's still working, so I head to bed. Then I was startled awake at 2 a.m. by him shaking me, telling me he's hungry now. What part of there are leftovers in the fridge do you not understand? Confused, I remind him about the leftovers and turn over to go back to sleep, but he gets grumpy and tells me I need to make him something fresh. I'm honestly completely confused and so sleepy while he rattles on about coconut shrimp or something. Oh, no way. Okay, so he wanted like breaded shrimp? Has anybody ever heard of Uber Eats? Still half asleep, I just stare at him as I try to work out what the F is happening. I'm guessing my silence pissed him off as he started having a go at me for not, quote,
doing my duty as his girlfriend.
I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like wifey responsibilities without the wifey ring. And even then, you gotta be delulu as fuck to wake up your wife in the middle of the night to ask her to make you dinner. Jail. Immediately jail. That woke me up fully, and I told him to get out of my house. His attitude changed then, and he was apologizing, but I repeated myself, and eventually he left the room. I followed him, picked up his stuff, put it into a bag, and once again told him to get out, like a deer in headlights. He kept trying to say sorry and hug me, and it was only when I threw his car keys into his arm that he realized I was serious, and he left. This was Sunday morning, it is now Monday night, and I still refuse to speak to him. He's tried calling and texting, but I am honestly just annoyed and dumbfounded. I know I'll have to speak to him at some point, but I don't want to. He's an idiot. If and when I do speak to him, I'll update. For now, I'm going to bed. The sheer audacity. Like, I can understand if you're stressed out because of work, but what part of your girlfriend is sleeping? She already made you a home-cooked meal and put it in the fridge for you that you just have to heat up. Do you not understand? I don't know about you guys, but there are a few times in life where I am, let's use the word, no, let's just go ahead and say it, bitchy. I'm a pretty cheerful person. Some might even say I'm fun and lighthearted and optimistic. But if I get woken up, even if my dog wakes me up, you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there for that, okay? I have few expectations in life. And trust me, I know that when I have kids, this is going to be a problem. I know it's a problem, and I'm scared, legitimately scared, because my anxiety peaks when I haven't slept well. Heads would roll if this happened to me. So we do have an update. Sneaky little update. Holy sweet jeebas, that's a lot of notifications. Thank you for your overwhelming support. Glad to know I'm not the only one who thinks this is stupid.
You are really dumb, for real.
Also, to the ones who said I should have just done it or agreed with the man-child, thank you, I needed a laugh today. I'm sorry, who the hell is saying that? That's an absolutely not from me. He came into my job to talk and explained that his friend saw a video of a woman being woken up to cook for her man, and they decided to test it out on their partners as a loyalty test.
You guys are f***ing out of your minds.
So my initial judgment of him being an idiot was correct. I beg your finest pardon, but that is not a loyalty test. That's like a, are you my little bitch test. This is not about loyalty, okay? This is about basic respect. He was surprised when I broke up with him, but he was calm and accepting. albeit sad. Either way, that's over with. To answer a few concerns. No, there are no mental health concerns. Yes, he's stressed, but it's surface stress that'll be fine once his work hires some new people. Honestly, not my concern anymore. Someone mentioned unconditional love. The relationship was less than 3 months. Chill out. Chill out indeed. Unconditional love. Unconditional love. I'm sorry, but those two things do not relate. Not being willing to wake up in the middle of the night to make your spouse a fresh meal when he already has one in the fridge is so no. Like literally no. Anyone want to wager an over or under how many of his douchebags friends are also now newly single? Honestly, it kind of reminds me of that like High Value Man podcast. Like, it's just, if your wife won't wake up in the middle of the night to make you dinner when you already have leftovers in the fridge, she's not a high value woman. Let's get it straight here. Not being willing to wake up in the middle of the night to make your partner a meal does not make you a low value woman. It makes you normal, and it makes him delusional.
This is delusional.
Any partner that does this sort of loyalty test immediately fails the not being a shit person test. That's not even loyalty. That's putting up with being massively disrespected. Someone isn't disloyal because they don't put up with crappy behavior. OOP's ex is either the kind of idiot that doesn't think things through or the kind of idiot that tried exerting some sort of control over OOP. But either way, their relationship status can be described the same way as the number of brain cells they have. Single. My fiance left me over a message. So this happened about 2 weeks ago. And by the way, this story is from the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. Me, female 26, and my fiance, male 25. I've changed some details for extra anonymity, have been dating for 5 years, engaged for 2, due to planning and financial situations. We were the unstoppable couple. Everyone always said that we had the perfect relationship and that our love makes them sick. We never had any big fights or arguments besides the usual debates about who is right, like the kind of answer you Google to see who was actually right. Zebras are white with black stripes kind of debate. We were perfect. He washed the dishes, I cooked him whatever his heart desired. We looked after and protected each other. I know I can be a very difficult person to deal with. I have bipolar 1, the kind where you have super strength. At 2 a.m. I'm a bit picky about certain things, like where my crafting supplies go and how my food is prepared, and how I feel my emotions. But besides all of this, I'm able to regulate and control my emotions very well, and it's never been a problem. I'm still able to have a normal and calm conversation. We've been planning our wedding for around 1.8 years, and we've recently been financially stable enough to start looking for a house or apartment together. I have a small business, and he works remotely, full-time. About 2 months before fucking is what I would call a breakup, I noticed a few things here and there that were weird, but nothing alarming. He would say his shoulder hurt when we cuddled. He cut and changed his hair and routines. Conversations were sometimes met with weirdness.
Hey, that was weird.
2 weeks before the fucking, we went on vacation with some friends. Everything seemed perfectly fine and normal. We had a great time. 1 week before Valentine's Day, he couldn't be with me on Valentine's Day due to work, but he took me out for brunch the next day. Nice plate, good food, and he even bought me chocolates and was all lovey-dovey as usual. The day after, I was recovering in bed. I had 3 wisdom teeth pulled. He wanted to speak to my parents about the dogs we both have together, Luna and Rex. They are my world. So the morning of the fucking, I decided to do my hair and makeup. I wanted to move my apartment around and deep clean and have everything ready for when he came home that evening. Apartment is next to my parents' place in the back of the yard. I sent him a good morning, have a great day, I love you kind of message. Later that morning, I received a notification from a courier company saying my package is on its way from my fiance. I thought it was a mistake and I tried calling him. No answer. He sent me a message about an hour later that, quote, he's
breaking up with me. Thanks for our time together. You can keep the dogs.
No reasons, no explanation, nothing, just that. Also was removed from all social media, nothing more. So what the hell happened? In the courier bag was my gate remote, his ring, the dog's vaccination and vet cards, my medical emergency card, and an old nose ring I lost 3 years ago.
Ew.
Okay, well that's random. There's no explanation, nothing? Let's see if we can find some clues in the comments. He found someone else and was too much of a coward to come clean and handle things like a mature adult. I always find that when there's a change in behavior that's very random, you know, all of a sudden they're not responding to your texts the way that they normally would, or you can feel the energy has kind of shifted, they don't want to be as touchy with you anymore. Usually it's someone else. They started seeing someone else, or maybe they like someone else. It's never just out of nowhere. And like, I see a lot of people blaming her bipolar and all these other things. I really don't think it's that. I really genuinely believe that he cheated and left. He worked on Valentine's Day, got a new haircut and routines. He absolutely met someone new. And he doesn't want to admit that, because if he did, he'd have to admit he cheated. Am I the butt face for telling my boyfriend to act more polite in a fancy restaurant? A bit of quick context. My boyfriend and I have been dating for a while, but we live in different cities. We need to pay for the train and bus to visit. This past visit, my boyfriend was really insistent we go to an extra fancy restaurant for a date. This was something we'd discussed before, but we weren't able to afford at the time, and we put it off.
We're broke.
I found a super nice place. I asked him to check it out, then booked a reservation when he said he liked it. Day of, my boyfriend's train arrived late, so we didn't have time to go home before our date. This meant my boyfriend had to bring his bag, a backpack of clothes and essentials he didn't have at mine, into the restaurant. The place was packed when we got there. We were seated and started chatting. My boyfriend started to tell a story about a coworker he disliked. He then started raising his voice and was very loudly cursing, calling his coworker a rider or a bitch. You get the point. I noticed others stopping their conversation and looking at us. Oh, absolutely not. Oh, embarrassing. People really do be just very comfortable swearing now, eh? You know, I have this very cute neighbor that, like, he's such a sweet man. He's so cute. He, like, picks up our packages and, like, mows our lawn when we're away. The best. Don't worry, we brought him souvenirs. But yeah, no, sometimes when we're having chats on the front porch, he'll be like talking about something that happened. He's like, yeah, you know, this thing happened where someone just, and he'll get really close and he'll be like, this fucker vandalized our garage. Pardon my French. And he was just so like we weren't in a fancy restaurant or anything. Like we were just like on the front porch. But even then, he gets very, very close and he's quiet about it.
Keep it down.
So polite, so demure, so demure. Be more like my neighbor. And this coming from someone who swears like a sailor, okay? I asked him if he could lower his voice and avoid swearing because we were in an expensive and busy place. He said, I don't care what other people think about me. I explained that I actually did care a bit, and I felt like we should shift the convo for now. He apologized and changed the subject. But eventually, each conversation turned into him loudly swearing, talking about intimate things or personal stuff. I asked to change the subject around 4 times until he got offended. Well, you should have just kept demure the first time if you didn't want to get offended. Have some gosh darn manners. This is a nice place. Then he mumbled about wanting to get something. He took his bag out from the corner we'd tucked it in and started unpacking everything. Oh, absolutely not. Oh my. He put clothes, socks, toiletries on the table that we were eating on. I'm sorry, but how are you not embarrassed? How are you not embarrassed? Socks on the table.
Nasty!
Not demure, not mindful. Not demure, not mindful. Not demure, not mindful.
Not demure, not mindful.
Not mindful. Not mindful. Not mindful. I panicked. I started asking him to stop or to take the bag to the bathroom if he needed to unpack. He insisted again that nobody cared but me, but repacked anyways. The breaking point was when the waiter came back with drink refills and he said he could make things fun again. He unzipped the front of his bag and pulled out vodka. Oh, is he an animal? Dude, the crazy thing is that he's the one that insisted on going to a nice place, okay? This is some McDonald's behavior, not a fancy restaurant. I freaked out. I told him to put it away, asking why in the world he would do that. If the restaurant didn't want to kick him out before, now they would definitely kick him out. You definitely cannot bring your own liquor into a fancy restaurant. He was so confused, so I told him that a lot of places don't allow you to bring your own liquor and they'll charge you a huge fee or kick you out. He insisted again that nobody cared and to just ignore him and he'd use it for all his own drinks.
Stop it. Get some help.
I got upset and said there was no way I'd babysit him drunk or get charged. The rest of the meal was awkward and quiet after that. Afterwards, my boyfriend said I made him feel stupid. Well, then don't act stupid. And I was scolding him like a baby. Then don't act like a baby, act like a grown man. Has he never been to a fancy restaurant before? Like never? There's a time and a place for debauchery. I love some debauchery. It is certainly not at a fancy, expensive restaurant. He said it was obvious I felt embarrassed by him. I mean, if the shoe fits. Essentially, this thing we'd wanted for so long, I had ruined. Oh, this is gaslighting. Oh, this is gaslighting. No. I feel horrible that I hurt his feelings. I'm worried I was a total a-hole and that I really did ruin our plan. I'm torn because I still think you're supposed to be more polite in places like that, but I don't want to assume I'm right and need some outside perspective. Dude, if anyone ruined this evening, it was your boyfriend, not you. It would be a small thing, but it's not a small thing because he gaslit you. The being kind of rude and unaware in a restaurant, that's one thing. But gaslighting you and making you feel bad for expecting like some decorum from him, that's what makes it a big thing.
Why did you do this? You know better, right? Why?
So are you the butt face for telling your boyfriend to act more polite in a fancy restaurant? No, you're absolutely not. And like, honestly, if you want to be able to go to like fancy restaurants and like nice places, you need to consider the fact that this is not the guy that you can go there with. So I'll just leave it at that. My 26 male girlfriend, 25 female, is threatening to break up with me if I don't kick my sister out.
This is too stressful.
A month ago, my younger sister, 13, moved in with us. Our mom has been a drunk my whole life, but she's always been a functioning alcoholic until now. My sister called me crying a month ago and said our mom let this dude move in and he was being creepy toward my sis. Oh, that's sad. I'm sorry to hear. So I drove down and my mom agreed that my sister should go live with me. We didn't think like maybe the guy that you're dating should like leave. We're not like choosing our own flesh and blood over some creepy man. Got it. I didn't ask my girlfriend for permission. Why would we do that? That seems like a no-brainer. My sister needed help, so it was a no-brainer. I mean, it might be a no-brainer to you, but like sharing a living space with a 16-year-old girl is definitely something that you need to discuss first with your girlfriend. Ever since she moved in, my girlfriend has been complaining nonstop that I'm spending too much time with her, that I'm not spending enough time with my girlfriend, that I'm spending too much money on my sister, and so on. And now she told me she'll dump me if I don't kick out my sister, that I'm not her father and I shouldn't have let her move in at all. We've been together 5 years and I honestly have never seen her act this way. I'm obviously not going to kick my sister out, but I just don't know how to fix things with my girlfriend.
I am in a pickle.
Okay. I mean, listen, you did your sister a solid. Like, I would also help, like, a friend or a sibling out of a situation like that. But, like, are we, like, actually spending too much time with our sister and spending a ton of money on her?
Dang it, Bobby, that's exactly what we don't want.
I don't know. I feel conflicted about this one. I feel like this is not, like, breakup worthy. I would say, like, just internalize what your girlfriend is saying and try to balance out the time that you're spending with your girlfriend and also your sister. And then if she's just being weird about it, I mean, she also does have a right to not want to live with your sister. It's a fact. You know, for a short period of time, it's fine to help somebody out. I know she's 16, but at the same time, it's like she didn't sign up for that, okay? And there's nobody that's necessarily wrong in this scenario. I just feel like if she's not willing to live with you and your sister, then maybe you guys aren't right together.
Hard truths cut both ways.
So we do have an update. Since I posted my original post, quite a few people have messaged asking for an update. So here it is. After my post, I had a long conversation with my girlfriend regarding us, my sister, and our future. And she essentially told me she doesn't want to be with me if it means she has to live with my sister. And quite honestly, I feel like she has the right to feel that way. You know?
Oh, it's not fair.
I understand that your sister was in a crappy situation, especially if it's like a small space. I wouldn't want to live with someone. You also didn't ask for permission. I don't know if I would want to live with an additional person. You know? That she didn't sign up to live with a teenager and I should send my sister back. I told her that wasn't a possibility. I mean, she's also kind of being a little unreasonable too by expecting you to send your sister back.
Somebody had to go.
Like, she's not gonna go back to that environment. So the next day she moved out. Honestly, it's probably for the best. Like, she has a right to not want to live with your sister, but you also have a right to protect your sister from a crappy situation. There's still a ton of her stuff that she'll pick up when she rents something of her own. On my original post, many people said I should have discussed my sister moving in before she did, and maybe I should have, but my sister called me crying. So on that same night, I got in the car and drove 400 miles to pick her up. As much as I love my girlfriend, now ex, my sister always comes first.
Aw, that's sweet.
Also, if you have asked how long my sister will stay with me, and honestly, I don't know. Most likely till she's an adult, unless our mom gets her life back on track. And there was some additional context that I felt was important. OP said, I own the apartment, I pay the mortgage and all the bills. The only thing we split was the groceries. Okay, so yeah, I feel like you wanted to help your sister out of a crappy situation and you have every right to do that. But also, your girlfriend has a right to not want to live with your sister. She didn't sign up for that, but it doesn't mean that anyone's necessarily wrong in this situation. It just seems like bad timing. My boyfriend doesn't want to marry me because I'm an immigrant.
Racism.
I already hate him. I, 29 female, moved to the US 7 years ago as a grad school student from Indonesia. I met my boyfriend, 30 male, a few months after I moved, and we've been together ever since. My boyfriend is a US citizen. After I graduated, we had a serious discussion about where our relationship was headed. I made it very clear that I wanted to eventually get married and have children. My boyfriend echoed the sentiments. I remember asking him if he saw that happening with me because I didn't want to be in a relationship with no future. He told me he loved me and that we're definitely heading in that direction. Okay, all seems good, all seems well. As of last week, we've been dating for 7 years. Ooh, that's a little long. No ring.
Shut up.
We've occasionally talked about marriage, but we were both busy with our respective careers, so the timing didn't seem quite right. However, recently my company announced that there's a chance that my department's work will be outsourced. I'm on an H-1B visa, temporary worker, so this means I need to start looking for a job ASAP if I want to continue staying in the US. Or, get married. I mean, yes, get a job for sure, but also, this problem could be solved if your boyfriend married you, like he promised. Last week, during our anniversary, I brought this up. I asked him if he thought it was the right time to think about getting married, as that would also help with sorting out my visa issues. He looked like he was about to vomit. Oh my God. What was he doing all this time? Oh my Lord. After much prodding, he confessed that he wasn't planning on us getting married before I was able to get a green card, permanent resident in the US. Why does that need to come before? Does he not want you to stay in the US? Bestie, what's going on? I was incredibly confused because he never mentioned this before. His reason was he didn't want to be used as a visa mule. I mean, listen, you've kind of been together for 7 years and you've talked about getting married.
What is this guy's problem?
If you were using him as a visa mule, I feel like that probably would have happened in the first couple of years or less. And if you weren't getting the visa through him, you probably would have left him for another sucker. Hypothetically, if that's what you wanted. So visa mule was his words, not mine, and that he wanted to make sure that I married him because I loved him, not because it was a ticket to stay in the US, which can only happen when I get a green card. It took me a while to process what he said, and I asked him if he'd be okay to move to Indonesia with me, which he wasn't.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I didn't react well, and I ended up leaving because I couldn't deal with what just happened. I mean, yeah. I really feel like all of this should have been talked about before. You wasted 7 years of your life on this person. I'm sorry, Visa Mule label or not, if you love this person and you want to spend the rest of your life with them, you've already spent a large chunk of your life with them. Why don't you just marry them and then all of the rush and the problems related to staying in the US will go away?
Girls have cooties.
I think it's an excuse. I don't know. This is stupid. Like, if he really loved you, of course, I want to be with you. And if this is the one thing that would help you stay with me so that we can have a life together, that should be your only response. I'm still in disbelief. I started dating him because he was the kindest, most thoughtful, and generous man I'd met. I now feel like I wasted 7 years. While the visa issues are certainly a problem, I did not date him with the intention of making him my safety net. I can't believe that even after nearly a decade together, he doesn't know what kind of person I am. I feel like this relationship is possibly over and it hurts. Oh, girl. Yeah, I'd be really freaking hurt as well. I honestly wouldn't waste another second on this person. He doesn't seem to care if you get deported.
Trash, filth, trash, garbage, dumpster, trash.
As long as he's not a visa mule. So addressing some of the stuff in the comments in this update, I've been on an H-1B visa a bit more than 2 years. I was on STEM OPT for about 3 years after grad school. I had terrible luck with the H-1B lottery and I got one in the last round I was eligible to apply in. Getting PR in the US is not easy, permanent residency. It is not easy. I know people who've been here for 15 plus years who are still waiting for their PR. For those of you who DM'd me calling me a gold digger, you guys made me lol. I'm aware of the legalities around sponsoring a spouse for a permanent residency, including the financial aspect. It shouldn't have been a problem for the following reasons. 1, I'm a STEM major who recently shifted into management. Okay, so educated queen. I work for a large company and I do quite well for myself. My boyfriend is a teacher and our incomes are not comparable. He earns around $60,000. I earn close to 300K.
Yes, queen, yes, queen, yes, queen.
Dab on them haters.
Oh, well, that's embarrassing.
We've been living together for 6 years. We have a shared account to pay for expenses like rent and utilities that we both deposit a percentage of our salary into. So I'm assuming that you deposit a lot more than he does based on how much more your salary is. The rest of our money goes into our own private accounts and we don't manage each other's money. Because I'm pretty frugal, I saved up quite a bit of money in the form of savings and investments. If my boyfriend was worried about the legality of sponsoring me financially for 10 plus years, I would have happily discussed moving the money around. I was even considering buying a house so we could have made that a joint ownership thing. The point is, we could have figured it out. I haven't relied on him financially ever, and I didn't intend on doing that in the future.
Has the ball, lost it! Lost it!
Like, you did kind of like need him to do the marriage thing so that you could stay. I mean, it kind of sounds like he's benefiting a lot more from this relationship than you are. I might not have considered everything, but you have to note that I thought about the marriage for visa thing very recently, only when the threat of possibly having to leave loomed over me. This isn't something I've thought about in detail at all. Now for the actual update. He is now my ex-boyfriend. I took a few days to collect myself and then reached out to him wanting to talk. He agreed. It turns out that he's been insecure about earning less than I did for a while. There it is. See, that's why I thought that it was just an excuse, because like if you love someone and you want to spend the rest of your life with them and you've expressed that, why is this a problem? Like, why is getting them a green card or permanent residency a problem? He doesn't even have to pay for it from what it sounds like. He just has to vouch for you and marry you.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of work.
Which also would benefit him considering you out-earn him. Apparently his friends have been poking fun at our relationship, calling me the sugar mommy because I take care of most of the expenses. He never told me this until now. He apparently didn't feel like an equal because our pay differs so much and started feeling I was only with him as a quick way to get a permanent residency here. I was speechless. I couldn't believe his friends gaslighted him into doubting our relationship. Oh, brother. Like, this is low-key also like kind of racist. Like, I'm sorry, but like you were with the guy for 7 years and this has never come up until now. I wouldn't want to go anywhere near this dude who's so easily swayed by his low-key kind of racist friends. And also it kind of sounds like you can do a lot better than him. I reminded him how he had supported me when I was in grad school, like getting me groceries when I had little money to spare, allowing me to stay with him rent-free in my last year of grad school to help me minimize expenses, so I didn't have to take out a loan. He let me use his car when I was attending interviews. I told him he did those things because he loved me, and me taking on the majority of household expenses since I started working is my way of paying him back for all the things he did for me back then. He said that he gets what I'm saying, but also he didn't expect me to start earning more than him straight off the bat. This is so dumb. You know that like in a relationship where the woman out-earns the man, it's like an 80% divorce rate. Not 50, 80. Not only have women entered the workforce and are exceeding all expectations, now we're not allowed to exceed because it would make our partners feel like less of a man. I don't know. I think it's really silly. Like, he had a good thing going. I asked if there was any chance he would consider going to couples therapy, like some of you had suggested, and he declined because he didn't think he was being unreasonable. He said he wanted to be the provider in a relationship and he didn't feel like one in ours. So there's no going back from this unless I quit my job and I found another that paid substantially less, which isn't going to happen. Oh my God! Please spare me. Spare me. No. Find a man that is either okay with the pay discrepancy or a man that makes more than you and isn't insecure, because like what the actual... Long story short, we broke up. His family's in disbelief. They were hoping he would propose soon. I've moved into an Airbnb. A little bit of good news to end this update with. My company offered me a similar role in a different department, but this is based out of France and there's a small decrease in pay. I mean, but it's also France, though. I've always dreamed about living in Europe, and I've accepted the offer. Congratulations. Go chase your dreams, babes. I've signed the relocation agreement, and I'll move there in the next 8 to 12 weeks. Well, that worked out nicely. I'm sorry. Let me just say this. As a woman in business, a woman who owns her own company, never, ever, ever, ever dull your shine or take less money, not exceed your own expectations of yourself because you're being pressured by a dude. If he has an issue with it, that is all his problem. That's his insecurities. There's more than one way to be a provider in a relationship.
If you know what I mean, well, you know what I mean.
If you can't provide monetarily, you provide with support. He could have supported you by helping you get your visa, and that could have been the way that he provides for you. It doesn't have to be about money. There's plenty of other ways to contribute in a relationship, but you should absolutely never, ever, ever dull your shine to make someone else comfortable with their inadequacy. I don't want to help my boyfriend buy a house. I've been with Mark for 2 years now. When we got into a relationship, we discussed what we wanted, marriage and kids, but we haven't really talked about taking the next step yet. Mark's dream has always been to own his own house. He's been saving up for it, but because we live in a medium to high cost of living city, it's not going as fast as I'd think he'd have liked. Yesterday, he asked me if I would consider covering rent and utilities for a year while he aggressively saves. Frankly, I'm not 100% on board. I told him this. Interesting. An entire year? What if you guys break up though? I asked him if he's thought about marriage. He said that might be too soon, and I agree, but he definitely loved me and he saw a future. I'm trying not to be hypocritical here. In a situation where like you're not married and you're financially supporting someone, I just feel that is a very large financial burden to share for someone that hasn't even proposed to you.
Where's my ring? Huh? Where's my ring?
I asked him if the house would be completely his own or if we'd buy it together, and he said it would be completely his own because we aren't married yet. And buying a house together would be risky. So dude does not want to commit to marriage with you. Dude wants you to pay for his living expenses while he saves for enough money to buy himself a house. I don't like it.
Where's my ring? Where is it? Where is it?
It's one thing if you would also own part of this house since you're helping him afford it. It's an entirely different thing for him to, like, number one, not want to marry you. And number two, he doesn't want you to also own the house.
He's using you.
I'd ask him if he'd pay me back his share, and he said eventually, kind of like how you're eventually going to get married. I've inherited a house from my grandmother in a high cost of living city, which I'm currently renting out. I don't want to lose it. And when I inherited it, Mark and I agreed that if we ever headed toward marriage, he's fully on board to sign a prenup that ensures he has no claim on it. He stated that he'd include this house on the prenup because it would be his own. Here's my problem. Mark has not done anything for my grandma's house. Neither have I. The house was in perfect condition. I rented it out within months of finalizing the inheritance, but he has no reason to stake a claim. But by covering rent and utilities, I will be providing monetary assistance to him, and if we break up, I'd have lost quite a bit of money for seemingly no reason. In a way, I'd feel entitled to a part of his house. Is this a selfish way to think?
One of these things is not like the others.
This sounds really messy, honestly. Like, when it comes to buying a house, like if you're not married, honestly, I think that you kind of would have to talk to a lawyer because obviously these things vary in different states, different areas of the country, different countries, etc. I love him, but I don't want to assume this risk, especially because our future together is not clear. I asked him if he would consider moving in with his parents and I'll find a roommate temporarily for a year so he could save up money. Oh, that's a good solution. But my guess is that he doesn't want to do that. This way, I wouldn't have to spend more than I need to. He'd achieve his goal and we can still continue our relationship. But he said I was being incredibly selfish and untrustworthy because it would be our home, just not on paper. No. I'm gonna wag my finger at you, mister. That I clearly didn't see a future with him and now he's not talking to me. I mean, you're the one that wants to get married and he's the one that doesn't want to, so... He said that might be too soon, and I agree. Who really doesn't see a future? A part of me feels like this relationship is doomed. Is there a way to salvage this? I think that what you suggested was a very good suggestion. Like, realistically, he's probably gonna be over at your place anyway. I just don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair. I don't think that's a fair way to set this up. So we do have an update. After a few days, I proposed the following to Mark. I'd front him the money instead of paying his rent for 12 months he needed for the down payment on the house. He'd calculate what % that money would be of the total cost of the house. The houses he was considering were in the $500,000 range. I would own that % of the house, not 50-50, just the % I paid for. If he paid me back within a year without any interest, I would remove my name from the deed and he'd own the house completely. If he doesn't pay me back within the year, he'd have to pay me whatever my % was worth a year down the line, if he intended on owning the house fully. Otherwise, I was happy to have a 10% claim on the house forever. So basically, if I fronted him $50,000 for a $500,000 house, I'd own 10%. I would charge him no interest for the first year. But if he doesn't pay me back, then he'd need to pay me 10% of whatever the house was worth the next year. So the house is $600K, he'd owe me $60K and so on. Okay. To be honest, this isn't that great a deal because real estate prices are nuts and are increasing pretty dramatically. So this is worse than taking out a loan. I proposed this in the hopes that he would decline and we would just go back to never having discussed it. To my surprise, he immediately agreed and said he'd get a lawyer to draft the agreement, even though he hadn't finalized a house. Well, okay then. Okay, whoa. Let's see what happened when the lawyer or the paperwork get involved. He had it ready in 2 days. He was incredibly pushy about me signing it. Never sign anything under duress. If anyone is pushing you to sign something extremely quickly, consider walking away. I wanted to review the whole thing with my lawyer, as you should, so I didn't care. Turns out there were some super shady clauses added, with my contribution being termed as a gift and not a loan. Oh, absolutely not.
I'm a slithery little sneaky snake.
I'm not gonna go into details, but my lawyer basically said this agreement was super problematic and would cause all sorts of issues down the line. He drafted an alternative and sent it to Mark. Mark did not sign it.
What are you hiding?
Nothing.
He was adamant that I signed the original agreement and wouldn't tell me why. No. He's trying to screw you, my love. He's trying to screw you!
And not in a good way.
He got increasingly angry, became kind of violent, which was the first time, and I was very surprised and scared, and called me a B word for not trusting him, and for reducing our relationship to a transaction. But he was literally about to scam you, and make you sign an agreement where you willingly allowed him to scam you. What a two-bit swindler, if I ever saw one. After 2 whole days of this, of the emotional manipulation and gaslighting, I decided I no longer trusted or cared for this man. There's no way in hell I can continue to be in a relationship with him. So yeah, I'm out of that relationship, y'all, and my money's all mine. All I can feel is peace. He literally belongs in the sin bin. I'm so glad that you didn't feel pressure to like salvage the relationship and sign this horrible agreement. Absolutely crazy. Lastly, we have a story from the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my boyfriend in front of all his friends and family? For context, I'm 22 years old and my now ex-boyfriend is also 22. We were both in college and we'd been dating since high school.
Anyways,
this happened last week and I wanted to share it in order to get outside opinions. So basically, me and my boyfriend, let's call him Max, we've been together for 3 years since we were in high school. And it was a typical relationship. We had ups and downs and I honestly didn't expect a high school relationship to last so long. So it was his birthday last week and I told him to come with me to a hotel to celebrate his birthday. And he said he had to go to, quote,
extra classes.
I got mad because I already booked a reservation and he could have told me that he had extra classes before I even bothered to waste my money on that stupid reservation. So anyways, I was all mad and upset until my best friend, who's also my roommate, we'll call her Lena, she called me in a video and asked me, didn't you say Max would be with you today? I told her the whole thing about him having extra classes and she scoffed so loudly I could hear her through the phone. And she said, well, I'm outside a cafe right now and I was planning to go here after school and he's here with his ex. I'm assuming these are his extra classes.
Oh, yeah, I'm so busy right now. I'm so busy.
The fact that he's hiding it, it's just so it's so painfully obvious. At this point, I was flabbergasted, not wanting to believe what Lena was saying to me. I scrambled all the words in my vocabulary to just let out a I'm coming. Anyways, I didn't even bother to change and I left my dorm in sweatpants and probably a dirty oversized shirt. As I reached the place Lena told me to go to, I see her standing near the wall. And as I approached her, I see Max, his ex, and a bunch of other friends that he never introduced me to. So I asked Lena what happened and she said after I hung up, like 10 minutes after, the friends came to the cafe. Okay.
Interesting.
Well, at least he wasn't on like a solo date with her entirely if other people were there. So I obviously called Max on my phone and he had the audacity to hang up and text me a simple, I'm still in extra classes.
You liar. You liar.
So I did the only possible thing and started recording. And before I could even turn off the video, Max kisses his ex. You know, the fact that he didn't want to spend his birthday with you is so telling. I did not know the context of the kiss because what does the context of the kiss matter? I was outside the cafe and could not hear if it was a bet or what. It was not a bet, babe. But whatever it was, it did not excuse the fact that he still kissed another girl, his ex for that matter. After I got that on video, Lena helped me go home as I could barely walk, and then I had to cry myself to sleep. After I woke up, I saw not a single missed call from him. I got dressed and went to school acting like everything was normal, but I could notice him and his ex looking at each other throughout the whole time we were together. He then said his family was hosting dinner and they wanted me to come. Now, I might have hated him, but his family had been too nice to me to say no, so I agreed. Then Lena gave me a twisted idea to send his whole family the video I took to show them how disgusting their son is. And that is what I did. When he was giving his little pathetic speech of how much he still loves me, all the phones around the table dinged and the videos were seen by everyone. It turned chaos. His mom was shouting at him, his dad was staring at the video, and his extended family were shouting. They are Mexican, so they were all speaking Spanish and I couldn't understand what they were saying. But after I left, he texted me cursing me out and I blocked him. So Opie responded in the comments. For context, I found out yesterday they were dared to kiss, but it doesn't excuse what he did. Please tell me if I'm the a-hole.
Okay, he's 12.
Dared to kiss, oh brother.
We were playing Spin the Bottle. It was a game. It was a game. It wasn't cheating.
He still lied and said that he had class. Meanwhile, he's meeting up with his ex and kissing her. If he wasn't doing anything wrong, why didn't he just tell you what he was doing? Not the a-hole, he lied. He blew off plans in favor of going out with friends and his ex. Kissed her, bet or not, it's unacceptable. His family's reaction said you did the right thing as they didn't condone that behavior. He's not a child. He has the ability to say no and choose not to, literally. Like,
oh, it was a game. They told me to. It was just a game.
Okay, would you have done that in front of your girlfriend? Probably not. You can say no. So are you the a-hole for breaking up with your boyfriend in front of all his friends and family? No. Honestly, that was kind of some petty inspo, so I'm proud of you. Subscribe!